It is important to remember that orientations and labels do not completely define everyone. Everyone's independent experience is as unique as their personality, so it's important to remember that a label for people can hold exceptions. The use of such labels is simply for convenience of explanation and/or finding a community that you identify with. To get into the specifics of sexual orientations, we first have to distinguish the difference between sexual and romantic orientations. Although it's a relatively simple concept, for many their sexual and romantic orientations align, so it may be confusing. Sexual orientation defines your sexual attraction towards other people and whom you're sexually attracted to. It's a desire to engage in sexual acts with a person, though not necessarily romantic. Your sexual orientation comes closest to defining the group of people that you are typically sexually attracted to. This is not to be confused with aesthetic attraction, where you may be drawn to a person because of how they look, but not necessarily sexually. Romantic orientation defines your romantic attraction towards other people and whom you're romantically attracted to. It's a desire to be close and intimate with another person, but is not necessarily sexual. What terms are used to define romantic orientations? The sexual orientations most people are familiar with are homosexual and heterosexual. The prefixes homo and hetero can be applied to the suffix romantic rather than sexual, to create a label to define a romantic orientation rather than sexual. For example, a man who is attracted to men sexually but is romantically attracted only to women may identify as homosexual heteroromantic. The most common orientations are hetero, attraction to a different gender; homo, attraction to the same gender; bi, attraction to two genders; pan, attraction to all genders; a, no attraction to any gender; demi, only experiences attraction after establishing a strong emotional relationship; and gray, only occasionally experiencing attraction. As stated before, these prefixes can be applied to either sexual or romantic orientation. An important distinction to remember is that a person's personal choice does not validate or invalidate their orientation.
Let's deal with what happens when other people actually get involved. That's sexual behavior, which is actually very different from sexual orientation. And that might seem a little bit strange at first, but it's not. Consider, for example, a heterosexual priest. That priest's orientation is heterosexual, but because of his religion, his behavior is celibate.
There are dozens of other terms regarding sexual and romantic orientations, as well as terms regarding sexual, romantic, platonic, and aesthetic attractions. If you're interested in looking into them, links are in the description.
But what's really important is that we trust ourselves, and we understand ourselves, and we love and respect ourselves, and we grant that same understanding and respect to the people around us. Because when the world becomes one of infinite continuums and those false dichotomies break down, and those two shiny boxes break apart into 7 billion shiny boxes, that's actually pretty beautiful.